Late at night, on August 8, 2013, Brandon Lawson left his home in San Angelo, Texas, after a heated argument with his partner. Just hours later, he made a frantic and cryptic 911 call from a desolate stretch of highway. By morning, his truck was found abandoned, doors unlocked, gas tank empty, but Brandon was nowhere to be seen. What followed was nearly a decade of speculation, heartache, and unanswered questions. Welcome to Crime Science, where we explore the cases that leave us searching for truth. Tonight, we begin part 1 of our deep dive into the disappearance of Brandon Lawson. To understand Brandon's disappearance, we first need to understand the man himself. Brandon Mason Lawson was a 26-year-old father of 4. Born and raised in Texas, Brandon had a tough but loving personality. He was hardworking with a job in the oil fields that demanded long hours and plenty of physical grit. But like many young adults, Brandon's life wasn't without challenges. Brandon's relationship with his partner, Ledessa Lofton, was passionate, but occasionally tumultuous. They had been together for over a decade and shared 3 children, with Brandon also being a father to another child from a previous relationship. Financial stress, long work hours, and personal struggles sometimes caused friction between them. In the months leading up to his disappearance, Brandon was reportedly trying to turn over a new leaf, working hard to stay clean from substance abuse, a battle many close to him believed he was winning. But on the night of August 8, 2013, the cracks in Brandon and Ledessa's relationship came to a head. The argument that unfolded in their San Angelo home wasn't out of the ordinary, but it was enough for Brandon to decide he needed some air. At 11:53, Brandon grabbed his keys and stormed out of the house. His destination? His father's house in Crowley, Texas, a drive of over 3 hours. Was this just an impulsive decision to cool off, or was Brandon planning to leave for good? We may never know, but what we do know is that Ledessa was worried. Before Brandon left, Ledessa asked him to stay. But when it became clear that he was determined to go, she made a series of decisions that would later prove crucial. She called Brandon's brother Kyle Lawson, who lived nearby, asking him to check on Brandon. She also left her phone charging in her car, a detail that would later complicate communication that night. Meanwhile, Brandon hit the road in his silver F-150. For a while, it seemed like a typical drive. But around 12:30 a.m., something went wrong. Somewhere along the lonely stretch of Highway 277 near the small town of Bronte, Texas, Brandon's truck ran out of gas. It was a remote area flanked by fields and rugged terrain, with little to no traffic at that hour. Alone on the roadside, Brandon called Kyle for help. Kyle and his girlfriend Audrey were quick to respond. Kyle told Brandon to hang tight while he picked up a gas can and drove out to meet him. But before Kyle could arrive, Brandon made another phone call, this time to 911. At 12:54 a.m., Brandon placed a call to 911 that has haunted investigators and his loved ones ever since. Let's listen to an excerpt from that call.
911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. It's like we're just pushing some guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. Got taken to the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
I'm not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? Hello?
In the call, Brandon's voice is frantic and difficult to understand. He says, "Yes, I'm in the middle of a field. I ran into him, just the first guy. We're not talking to him. I need the cops." There's more, but much of it is garbled, with Brandon's words overlapping the dispatcher's attempts to clarify. The call lasted less than a minute and ended abruptly. Whatever Brandon was trying to convey, it was clear he felt he was in immediate danger. The question was, from what? By the time Kyle and Audrey arrived at Brandon's location around 1:10 a.m., the situation had taken a strange turn. They found Brandon's truck parked haphazardly on the side of the road. The doors were unlocked, the gas tank was empty, and Brandon's door was slightly ajar, just as Brandon had said. But Brandon himself was nowhere to be found. Adding to the mystery, a sheriff's deputy also showed up around this time. A passing motorist had reported Brandon's truck as a potential hazard, prompting the deputy's arrival. Neither Kyle nor the deputy knew about Brandon's 911 call at this point. Assuming Brandon had wandered off to avoid the deputy due to an outstanding warrant, Kyle searched the immediate area but found no trace of his brother. Kyle later said he spoke to Brandon on the phone briefly during this time. According to Kyle, Brandon claimed he was 10 minutes up the road and could see both Kyle and the deputy, yet despite repeated efforts to locate him, Brandon never emerged from the darkness. As dawn broke on August 9th, Brandon's family and friends were left with more questions than answered. What had happened during those crucial hours on Highway 277? Over the years, multiple theories have emerged. Some believe Brandon fell victim to foul play, possibly encountering someone with malicious intent while walking along the road. Others suggest that maybe he succumbed to the harsh Texas terrain, which includes dense brush, rocky paths, and dangerous wildlife. A third theory posits that Brandon's state of mind, potentially influenced by stress or substances, led to confusion and an accidental tragedy. Then there's the 911 call. Who were the they Brandon mentioned? Was he being chased? Did he stumble upon something he wasn't supposed to see? Or were his words the result of fear and disorientation? As the days turned into weeks, the search for Brandon intensified. Law enforcement, family members, and volunteers combed the area, but no significant clues were ever found. Social media became a hub for amateur sleuths, with forums and discussion boards dissecting every detail of the case. For Brandon's loved ones, the lack of answers was devastating. Ledessa Lofton, in particular, faced immense scrutiny, with some questioning whether she knew more than she let on. Kyle Lawson, too, became a focal point of speculation, with critics asking why he didn't do more that night to find his brother. Over 10 years later now, Brandon Lawson's disappearance remains one of Texas's most puzzling unsolved cases. The lack of physical evidence, combined with the eerie 911 call, has left investigators and the public grasping for answers. What really happened to Brandon that night on Highway 277? In our next episode, we'll explore the events that followed Brandon's disappearance, including new evidence and shocking developments that would alter the course of the case forever. Stay tuned for episode 2 as we continue unraveling the mystery of Brandon Lawson. I'll see you in the next one.